This is a tuition session with my students based in Canada. So I'm waiting for my students to come online, and I will not reply to others' comments today because it is meant to be a one-to-one tuition. As I'm not too familiar with Zoom, all right. So I will continue to familiar myself with Zoom and use it in the future. For the time being, I will use Facebook Live. Right. So I'm just waiting for my students to come on live. All right. Okay. So it won't start anytime until my student appear. So perhaps I will just start with today's sharing, at least to write down the topic that I'm going to share today. Okay, hopefully my student will appear online soon. Okay, so today's topic will be on the flying star. Okay, let me change to a blue color. 视化飞星. Obviously, this topic is under 紫微斗数. Okay. All right, great. My student has. Okay, hi Stephen. I believe you are here already. You are able to hear me. Are you able to hear me? If you are able to hear me, I will proceed as you have requested. Okay, you may comment on the Facebook or even WhatsApp. Both are okay. I'm able to see your comments. Okay, so as you have requested to learn more about the 四化飞星, which are the four flying star in 紫微斗数. 斗数. So I believe you already know what are the four flying stars, right? I don't really have to repeat all the theories, the basic concepts of the flying stars, right? Or do you prefer me to go through them with you as well? I'm okay to go through them with you, or you are familiar. Okay, perhaps I will just do a brief run through. Will that be okay for you? Just a brief run through for you to, in case you miss out any concepts of the four flying star. Will that be okay for you? All right, great. So I will go ahead and run through the four concepts with you. Okay. So I believe having visual aid will be an easier way for you to understand better. Let's start with 画路. 画路 in Chinese writing, right? This is the Chinese writing. So in terms of 画路, it is of the metal, right? Let me use it is of a metal elemental energy. It will be important for you to remember the various elemental energy related to the four flying stars because they will have different effects when paired with various stars of different elemental energy likewise, which I will elaborate later on. So in terms of Hualu, some of the characteristics or some of the life situations that will be related to Hualu would mean having, okay, perhaps I will just write in point form. Firstly, having smooth progress in life. Okay, you will experience lesser obstacles, lesser challenges if you are able to find Hualu, especially in the inner domains, for example, your life domain, your career domain, your wealth domain, etc. And secondly, it is also indicative of someone or something being desirable. For example, if you are able to find Hualu within your spouse domain, it could mean that your spouse, your wife, will be someone that is desirable, at least towards you, towards yourself. Okay. Thirdly, 化禄 will represent affectionate. What it means is that sometimes during certain period in your life, you are able to, for example, if you are able to find 化禄 within your friend's domain, it could mean that within your friends there could be potential partner, romantic partner that can have the potential to develop a romantic relationship with you. Such is the one of the characteristics of 化禄. Okay, so not that difficult. In case other people don't know what is 化禄, all right, this is the wealth catalyst. Usually indicates financial success, financial resources, abundance of wealth, etc. Okay, quickly run through with you. Okay, some of the other characteristics like if someone is having 化禄, they would also sometimes be fickle-minded. Okay, because usually it means that they have higher chance to choose from various options, and sometimes they cannot choose. This is due to their in terms of life, right? One of the most important things is of course financial resources, and of course when we are given more than sufficient financial resources, it also indicates that we have more choices in life. That's the reason why people with 化禄may usually be exposed to more choices than the rest of the people. Of course, 化禄 also represents abundance. People who are born with 化禄 within their life domain, or what I usually call the self-destiny domain, or in Chinese called 命宫, usually have more than enough financial resources to use within this lifetime. Okay, so generally speaking, 化禄 is a rather positive energy. It is represented by the metal element because that is autumn, and it is often a season for harvest. So it indicates wealth. Okay, so just a quick run through. Next, we have 化权. Some people like to refer it as the authority catalyst or power catalyst. Catalyst. Firstly, the energy that is related to 化禄 will represent power. And secondly, of course, authority. Thirdly, it also represents competition or competitive action. So people who have 化权 within their life domain or containment domain, which I sometimes refer to the karmic or mind domain, 就是福德宫, all right? It means the 福德宫, the 福德宫, okay? 福德宫 actually represents our thoughts and behavior, and also our attitude, mindset. So people who have 化权 within their karmic mind domain or the containment domain, some people like to refer it to as the happiness domain, a lot of English names, okay? But in Chinese, we usually just call it the 福德宫. 福德宫 in Chinese actually refers to 福气 and 德行. Okay, So hope you don't mind I go more in depth and to touch on some of the important concepts in 紫微斗数。福德宫 within the 紫微斗数 chart may refers to the containment domain because people usually look at 福德宫 as a domain that will show your karmic rewards or so-called the positive karma or the negative karma that you inherited from your previous life. But in Chinese, that's why I always encourage my students to study 紫微斗数 in Chinese because I mean, you can get the gist of the message in a more accurate and more correct meaning. You can derive the more correct meaning with if you are going to study 紫微斗数 in Chinese because 福 is 福气 whereas 德 is 德行. Unfortunately, Stephen, you are not able to read Chinese, but it's okay. Let me explain to you. 福德宫的福 actually 福气 福氣 you speak Cantonese, right? So you understand what is 福氣, which is our luck or our fortune. Whereas 德行 means thoughts and behavior or our virtue and behavior. That's the reason if you are able to find 化權 within your karmic mind domain or the containment domain, you will be someone who is very competitive. Perhaps you always like to challenge your competitors. You are perhaps you can be a sportsman and perhaps even an MMA fighter. You always like to win. You like competitive sport, for instance. Okay. The next thing that 化权 can represent is also, okay, let me also write in English, victory. It indicates higher chances of success, winning, okay, victory or winning. Perhaps you are someone who is into a lottery, okay, for instance, you are into lottery or playing, you are keen to go to the casino and gamble. And when you are able to find 化权 within your wealth domain, and so happen that within that specific period of time, let's say the day that you enter into the casino, you are also having 化禄 within the self domain. 禄权 is a very favorable or very auspicious combination. Okay, 化权 is very positive to be paired with 化禄. So 禄权 usually means winning. Of course, winning money. Okay. Okay, so this is a very auspicious combination. Sometimes you'll find 2 or 3 this kind of catalyst stars falling within the same domain. And when they are existing together or combining together, it actually will give you a different meaning, which I will slowly introduce to you in future lessons. All right, so just want to quickly finish the talking about the meaning of 化权, okay? And then it also represents leadership skill. Let's use a different color. People who are having 化权 within their life domain or career domain, as I mentioned before, okay, let me sidetrack a bit, all right? Because I want my students to be very holistic and always have a very deep understanding on 紫微斗数 concepts. There are a lot of things that you will need to learn in 紫微斗数, but I will try my best to guide you along. As I mentioned before, career domain. Career domain is your 事业宫 in Chinese. And it is your 气数位. 气数位. Okay. Sometimes I write in traditional Chinese. Sometimes I write in simplified Chinese because I have lived in Hong Kong and I'm also lived in Singapore before. They both use the two different system of Chinese writing. So pardon me, I will sometimes use simplified Chinese. Sometimes I will write in traditional Chinese. But what I'm trying to say is that, right, 技术位, it is being referred to as one of the most important domain in紫微斗数system of analysis. Okay, so your entire life. Okay, let me show you a 紫微斗数 chart. Let me draw for you a 紫微斗数 chart. Okay, within the 紫微斗数 chart, we have the 12 domains, right? Oh, okay, sorry, I draw an additional line. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, one. Okay, let me draw properly. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. I'm not supposed to. Okay, I'm not very good in drawing, so but it will be very important for you to have visual aid. So please bear with me, okay? I don't mind spending more time making sure that you understand than to just to rush through and give you a brief explanation. I believe in in-depth study of 八字 and 紫微斗数. So please pardon me as I slowly draw out the 紫微斗数 chart for you. Let's say this is your life domain, which is your 命宫. Okay, this is your life domain. In terms of 紫微斗数, there's this concept called 三方四正 or adjacent domain. Adjacent domain. I believe I spell it wrongly. Okay, adjacent domains. So, when you look at the life domain, you will always have to take into consideration the stars within your travel domain and likewise the stars that are at the the fourth domain from the left and the fourth domain to the right. These are called the 三方四正. And to the left is always the career domain. If you have ever heard about the concept called 左青龙右白虎, okay, I don't know whether you have heard about this concept before. 左青龙右白虎. It's very much like saying that the left is the green dragon, whereas the right is the white tiger. And it's very much the same as 紫微斗数. It will be very important or very auspicious. Okay, the left area here, which is the left. Okay, if you are looking the chart from the angle of the birth chart, the left 三方四正 on the left side, right, is always your career domain. Am I right, Stephen? Are you still here? I hope you are still here. If you are still here, do give me do reply me, just to make sure that you are following my lesson, my explanation. Are you still following my explanation? Are you still able to understand what I'm saying at this moment? Okay, great. I saw that you mentioned that you are able to follow. So just remember, 七数位 is a domain that will influence our life, our entire life actually. It's very much like the early branch of the 八字. It has an influencing power throughout our life. Okay, so whether your life will achieve great success or not is very much dependent on the career domain, which is right here. Okay, so you understand, when we study a 紫微斗数 birth chart, we will always look at these three or four domains. Firstly, your life domain. Secondly, your travel domain. Thirdly, your career domain. Fourthly, your wealth domain. All these are the most important domains. Okay, I think the term adjacent is incorrect. Yes, correct. Beside. Okay, so okay, but you get my idea, right? You get my idea, right? As in or perhaps I will use another term, laboring domain. 三方四正. Okay, let me double check the spelling of adjacent. Okay, because as I'm teaching in both Chinese and English, sometimes, as I mentioned, some Chinese words are very difficult to be translated. So yeah, okay, let me write it properly in case you misunderstood what I'm trying to say. ADJACENT. Okay, this is adjacent means next to, or it is in a geometrical shape, same side in terms of when it's divided by the straight line. All right, a pair of angles. Okay, a pair of angles. Okay, just remember they are a pair of angles. That will be the simplest explanation that will be easily understood by all people. Okay, so thank you. Thank you for the highlighting that there may be there could be a better translation, but I will think about it and I will use another word perhaps in the future. And some of the other concepts related to Hua Quan are supremacy. Was it number 7? But never mind, the numbers are not really important. It is also related to supremacy. 8, it is related to talent. So for example, if you are having Hua Quan, for example, right, pairing with, let's say, okay, let me give you an example. Right, give you a good example to see. Let's say Hua Quan is being paired with Jumen, being paired with Jumen. As you have already studied all the notes before, right? Jumen is what kind of star? Okay, perhaps I will write a different color. Write in a different color so that it'll be easier for you to understand. Jumen or 巨門, okay, 巨門 in Cantonese. You do understand the characteristics of Jumen is very much involved with activities such as communication, verbal skills, communication skills, speaking. Yes, some people refer it as the gloomy star also because it is a star that can minimize the energy of other bright stars such as the sun. Yes, you're correct. It is also related to speech. Okay, so a very good very good interpretation there, Stephen. All right, very good interpretation there. Is related to gloominess also, and actually, Jiman is also related to suspicions. Okay, but generally speaking, Jiman, when it is being paired with Hua Quan, when these two stars are being paired together, it could actually mean that person is very good in speaking. He has authority in his speech, or perhaps he may be very suitable to work in career that is related to verbal speaking, such as being a lawyer, being a debater, being news reporter. Okay, all the careers that are related to public speaking, especially when paired with Hua Taiyang. Taiyang means dissemination of information in the public. In the public. So most reporter having Taiyang Jimen pairing with Hua Quan will have a very good career in terms of anything that's related to social media, being a news reporter, or being a public speaker. Okay, so just want to give you an example. That's all. All right. Okay, so I will not drag on too long because I still have a lot to talk about. Okay, so other things that Hua Quan is related to is also being lonely. because Huaquan is like 唯我独尊. 唯我独尊 in Cantonese is very much like 唯我独尊啊. Sometimes he will consider himself to be so good, to be better than the rest. Therefore, this kind of person usually will not have a lot of close friends who can understand him. And of course, he has a very high ability, perhaps in work, perhaps in his talents, making him very successful. But usually, this kind of person will also be more lonely because not many people can be matching kind of peers or friends with him. Therefore, usually, this kind of people will be kind of lonely at times. Okay, so these are some of the concepts related to Huaquan. All right, in case you miss out from the looks, or perhaps sometimes by talking to you verbally, right, you can remember all these concepts better. All right, just to add on, the element that is related to Huaquan is fire. Thus, also related to summer. So summer is also the time whereby the plantation, the crops that people grow will be the tallest, will be the greenest, will be the most healthy, in the most healthy state. Thus, Huaquan is related to fire energy because it is related to summer. In terms of the ancient agricultural society, people consider summer to be of the Huaquan energy. All right. So let's move on to Huake. Huake is quite easy to understand. First of all, you will in terms of Chinese, ke is always related to ke ju. Ke ju means recognition. It means academic achievements. It means being highly esteemed by other people, having top ranking status, etc. Okay, so some of the perhaps I will start with the elemental energy of Huake first. The elemental energy of Huake actually belongs to wood. Okay, it is of the season of the spring. All right, season of the spring. And earlier I mentioned already, Huake actually represents recognition, being recognized for your achievements, for your talents, for your sometimes even for your demeanor or even your appearance. Okay, so in a way, Huake is also a peach blossom star. Peach blossom star means 桃花星. People who have this Huake within their life domain or the self-destiny domain, usually they are more attractive and have better social relationships, especially with members of the opposite gender. Okay, so this is a star that is also related to wisdom. People who have Huake within their life or destiny domain, or within their mind karmic domain, the containment domain or the happiness domain, you would usually be very clever. They will have a quick mind and also full of wisdom. And usually they like learning, okay? They like learning. And fourthly, they can also be artistic. So they will like things like music, art, poems, or let me think. They do like drama, etc. Okay, everything that is artistic. everything that are visually appealing, they will be attracted to such activities. Okay, so this star can also means that person is very elegant. Someone who have this 画科 star within the self destiny domain would also means that that person is very elegant and will be easily will will find it very easy to achieve reputation and fame in life. Okay, reputation and fame. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier on, that different catalyst star can be patched together. For instance, if you have 画课 being paired with 画禄, then that person firstly will be able to achieve wealth through his good name, through his reputation, and he will also be able to achieve wealth due to studying, being able to excel in a certain specific topic of interest. For example, that person can be a musician who, like someone like my, who is that guy? Um, Ma Yo Yo, is that the violinist who played the violin? Very famous musician. They will be able to achieve great wealth due to their talent. Okay, so this is one of the combination of star that will bring about wealth through talents or through reputation, through having a for um because they are usually being will be able to become very famous due to their special skills in certain career or industry. Thus, people who have 画科 and 画禄 being packed together is a very auspicious combination. Okay. Sometimes 画科 can also represent politeness. People who have 画科 within their destiny domain, the self or the karmic domain, all right, the mind domain, usually are very polite. They will not be rude in their speech. They will not, for example, use vulgarities in their speech. And usually they are very tactful in the sense that they are clever. They will know what is the best way to achieve something through strategies or very brilliant plans. Okay, so basically these are the concepts related to 画科. And lastly, all right, the star that we all often refer to as the negativity enhancer star 画忌. Okay, let me also include the name, which is negativity enhancer star. And this is of the water element and is represented by winter. Winter is a period of time whereby things start to wither, start to die, or some animals will go into a deep sleep, hibernation. And most of the time, the environment during winter is very harsh, very difficult for living things to survive. In a way, 画忌 is also representative of the blockage of the flow of energy. So in a way, when 画忌 is being found, perhaps in certain decade trend, let's say you're entering into a decade trend with 画忌 within your, let's say, friends domain, then it could mean that your friends are bringing you a lot of problems in life, causing you to have a very challenging path in life, of challenging journey, okay? Especially when Huajis are being found in the outer domain or the external domain. As I have told you earlier on, there are two different types of domain within 紫微斗数. Outer domain, which are friends, spouse, parents, travel, children, and siblings. And let's say, okay, the flying star is flying in such a way that it flies into your inner domain. Okay, what I meant by that, in terms of flying star, sometimes it will fly from different direction. Okay, let me draw for you the chart again. All right. Okay. This is a 紫微斗数 birth chart. Let's say the star, okay, this is the life domain, let's say, okay, and then this is your travel domain. Let's say, okay, your friend's domain will be here. Let's say the flying star is flying in such a way whereby because the flying star is always flying according to the heavenly stamps within the domain. For example, let's say we have this Huaji here, or we have a heavenly stamps here that causes Huaji to fly in such a way into your life domain. This is a sign of friends bringing problems into your life. To give you another example, this is the wealth domain. Let's say, okay, this is your siblings domain. Okay, this will always be your siblings domain, by the way, okay? Because the first domain to the left is always your siblings domain, to the right, as in you, when you look at the 紫微斗数 birth chart from your own angle, okay? This will always be the parents. Okay, you should know all this by heart already. This is the mind or karmic domain, the containment domain. This will be the property. Okay, property. This will be the okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. This will be the body domain. This will be the spouse domain. Okay, I think I have draw the chart wrongly, or let me double check, okay? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. After spouse domain is the children's domain. Yes, I am correct, okay? And opposite of the spouse domain, of course, is your career domain. So the flying star will all fly into different directions. For example, we can have spouse domain having a Huaji flying into your wealth domain. Therefore, it could mean that your wife, if you are a man, your wife will be creating some problems to affect your wealth. Let's say your career domain is having a Hualu star flying into your, okay, this is Hualu, into your wealth domain, then this is a sign that from your career choice or from your business operation, you are able to achieve great wealth. Okay, so these are some of the example of how we go about using the flying star system. Of course, there are another type of flying star, which is self transformation kind of catalyst star, right? Let me draw for you the chat again. All right. Okay, perhaps I will first introduce you. There's 智化. All right, 智化, which is self transformation. And as you already know, there are also 废话, right? From one domain to another domain. That kind is called okay, let me say directional transformation. Okay, I can't find a better translation as of now. If in the future I can think of a more appropriate translation, I will use that, a more appropriate term. Okay, but this kind of directional transformation will take place due to the heavenly stems of your domain. But let me first finish talking about the 化忌 first, the negatively enhanced star. Some of the characteristics that are related to the 化忌stars are anxiety. So, for example, someone is having 化忌 within his mind karmic domain. So, what will happen? That person may have problems with anxiety, some kind of psychological issue that will affect his mental state. Let's say 太阴天同, okay, 太阴, as I told you before, right, is a very emotional star because it is a female star. It is the moon, correct? This is the moon. 太阴 is the moon, okay? Moon. It is also a lady star, a female star, okay? Also represents your mother, your sister, your wife. And all these people are usually emotional, right? If if you observe, okay? So 太阴 when being paired with 天同, and pairing with 化忌, because 天同 is very sensitive. So when we have such a combination, and it is found within the mind karmic domain, okay, 福德宫 mind domain, then usually that person will have depression. So in terms of 紫微斗数 interpretation, it's very much like chemical reaction. If you put like H2O, you have 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, you will have water. Okay, a very simple analogy. So you have 太阴 and 天同 being paired with 化忌 within your mind karmic domain. Then you'll be prone to experience depression in life. It's really just that I will not that won't say it's that simple, but you'll be able to find out certain pattern or certain characteristics in that person's life due to the arrangements of the stars within a specific domain. Okay, so okay, perhaps I will just go on. Secondly, 化忌 also represents disputes. Why is it that we have dispute? Is because usually we care about something so much that that issue or certain things is too important to us. Whatever is important to us will bring us anxiety. Am I right to say that? So you look at 化忌 in terms of Chinese writing, 化忌. Okay, perhaps I will use a different color. This is 化忌. Ji actually represents yourself. In Chinese, this is 自己的己 This is exactly the same as 自己的己. So when you have a Chinese word of 己 above a heart, it means that you are obsessed. How do I spell obsessed? Okay, suddenly I forget how to spell obsessed. Okay, let me double check the spelling. I just want to be right. Okay, obsess. Okay. So OBES. Okay, OBS. Obsess. Right? Wherever your heart is caring too much about, is represented by the word 化忌. Thus, whatever you care too much about, right, you will usually bring about anxiety, disputes, or even jealousy. For example, you care so much about your girlfriend. Um, just an example, okay? Don't mind me. You have a girlfriend. You care so much about your girlfriend, and when your girlfriend went out with another guy overnight, then of course you'll be jealous. And this kind of situation can be represented with 化忌 within your friend or the spouse domain. Perhaps within your month trend, okay, which is called Liu Yue. Then you may experience these kind of situations in life. Other things that 化忌 can represent are also obviously problems, obstacles, scarcity. Because in winter, most of the time, if you look at nature, most of the time winter is a period of time whereby there is a scarcity in terms of food supply, in terms of water supply. All water become ice, and also it is a period of time whereby most animals will hibernate. Okay, so I have basically this is the general overview of the flying star. And to make things even more complicated, right? Before I introduce you to flying star, there are actually various schools of flying star. Just to give you a brief idea, there is this 千天派. Okay, personally, personally, I prefer 千天门. But there are other schools of 紫微斗数. Okay, such as 北派. Or another school is called 中州派. Zhongzhou Okay, another other form of domain kind of school of 紫微斗数, right, is from the 全书 紫微斗数 全书. Okay, these are all for your example, but I will focus on the 千天门. 千天门 is the school of 紫微斗数 which I prefer the most. And within 千天门, they categorize the flying star in such a manner. The 10 heavenly stamps are namely Jia. Okay, let me put the line to be a smaller. Okay, so this may sound a little bit complicated, but it is necessary for you to learn. You may just read it through or just listen to my explanation as a form of storytelling. Okay, whatever you see here, I write in. Do you prefer me to write in Chinese or English? Or perhaps I will write in Chinese first. Easier for. Okay, let me write in English. All right. I believe because you can only read English. How the flying star comes about is such that we have the heavenly stamps. I need to write smaller. Okay, but perhaps I will enlarge this screen to a bigger size. We have 化禄. We have 化权. Okay, we have 化权. We have 化克. and we have 画技, and we have the heavenly stems. Okay, we'll just write HS, okay, because I have no space. Okay, and heavenly stems, there are 10 of them. The first one is 甲, second one is 乙, third one is 丙, fourth one is 丁, six is 戊, 子, 庚, 辛, 壬, 癸. Okay, all right, I hope my writing is easy to read. So, okay, listen carefully. Okay, listen carefully to this. All right, I believe my photo is blocking me. All right, will this be better? All right, I believe this is still okay. This is still feasible. So listen carefully. Okay, when the heavenly stem is of 甲. Okay, let me choose another color. 化禄 will be pairing with 廉贞. When the when the heavenly stem is of 甲, 化禄 will be pairing with 廉贞. This is how we go about plotting the flying stars within a birth chart. When the heavenly stem 甲 is at, okay, let me repeat again. When you see the heavenly stem 甲, 破军 will be pairing with 化权. When you see the heavenly stem of 甲, 武曲 will be pairing with 化科, and subsequently 化忌 is pairing with 太阳 when it is at the 甲, when you identify the 甲 heavenly stem. Okay, I know this is a bit confusing, but I will draw it out for you to let you have a better understanding. Okay, let's say, okay, make sure that make sure that you can understand. So I will draw it out for you. Okay. Flying star is not easy to understand, so I will need to use visual aid in order for you to come to a better understanding. Within a 紫微斗数 chart, all right, these are the 12 domains. Let's say your life domain is here. And then, okay, this is of 甲午, heavenly stem. Let's say this is 甲午. Okay, this is 甲午. You can you can understand, right? Wu is the other branches. So what will happen? Where will be the flying star? Okay, just let me quickly run through this. As I mentioned earlier on, right? If you have a 甲 heavenly stem, then 廉贞 will be pairing with 化禄. So let's say your 廉贞 is right here. 廉, okay, let me use another shape. Let's say your 廉贞 is right here. Then your 廉贞 will be pairing with 化禄. Okay, let me write in English. And then subsequently, okay, I mentioned that 太阳, let's say 太阳 is right here. Then 太阳 will be paired with 化忌. Okay, I know that you kind of understand how this goes about. You just need to refer to the chart. I know But that is not enough. That is a theoretical aspect. Now I'm trying to show you the practical aspect on how we go about analyzing the chart. Okay, so please bear with me, all right, as I draw out the various flying star for you to have a better understanding. Let's say we have Paul Jun here. Paul Jun will be pairing with Hua Quan and Yan Zhen Wu Qu. Okay, we have Wu Qu here. Then Wu Qu will be pairing with Hua Ke. Okay, so now you can see. Earlier on, I mentioned that this is the career. This is the mind. This is, oh, sorry, this is the wealth actually. Okay, this is the wealth. This is the career. This is the mind. This is the children. Children. So how can we interpret this chart? Okay. For example, this, let's say this person is of a Ziwei star. Okay, let me write in English. Ziwei. So Stephen, I want you to tell me something about this person. For example, this person is having Ziwei star at the life domain. Can you tell me something about Ziwei? I believe you have read through the study notes and have a brief understanding on what is Ziwei about. So please tell me something related to Ziwei, because the reason I'm asking you this because it's really give you some kind of practice. The flying star will mean nothing if you just look at the chart and know which star is flying into which domain. It will not mean nothing unless you are able to have a form of practice as to find out how to go about reading it. Okay, so it is very important for us to learn the interpretation. Yes, very good. 紫薇 actually means power and leadership. That is a very good interpretation. Okay, so perhaps you can tell me some more. Yes, very good. The person will like to indulge in okay, like to indulge in luxury. So can you tell me some more? Tell me some more. What is it that all right, you can tell for this person who has a Ziwei star uh within the self domain or the destiny domain. Please tell me some more. Okay, please tell me some more. What other things can you tell me? I would love to hear your opinion. Okay, yes, authority, which is good. Okay, all these are correct points. Perhaps you can tell me some more related other things that are related to Ziwei. Can be lonely and powerful or tyrant. That is very good point. Any other input that you like to suggest? Depends on supporting star. Exactly, very good. All right, that is a very good point also. For example, if Ziwei is being paired with a lot of positive existence star, such as 天回、天月、文昌、文曲、天香、天福、左辅右弼、三台八座, all these are positive stars for Ziwei. All right, so I believe very much you are familiar with Ziwei star. So very good, Stephen. So perhaps I will just add on. Okay, perhaps I will first start with the formation of the Ziwei. As I've told you before, Ziwei is a star that is of the earth element, right? Of the earth element. For Ziwei to be having the heavenly stamp of Jia and Wu, can you tell me, is this Jia Wu positive or negative for Ziwei? give me a try, like in terms of your input. Let me know, do you think it is a positive or a negative star? Okay, Stephen, is it a positive or negative star? So I will wait for your input. Yes, it is actually of the best location, and you are very correct. Okay, one of the best location. Okay, I will say is one of the best location. Okay, it is one of the best location because the reason is because Jiawu is of the wood and fire, enhancing fire. The energy flow is such that wood is enhancing fire, and subsequently, okay, sorry, and subsequently, okay, subsequently, this fire is enhancing the earth. Therefore, within such a domain, the Ziwei star will be at a very bright position, which is a positive thing. So very good, Stephen. Very good try. Very good understanding of the concepts of how the heavenly stems and earthly branches are related to the stars within that specific domain. Okay, in fact, this is a formation called 子集上黎明 means Li Gua. Li Gua, as I mentioned many times before, right? Li in the I Ching is of the fire element. So the emperor star, Ziwei, is at the north, I mean at the south, okay? At the south, because Wu is the direction of the south. It means that the Ziwei star is at the strongest position, called Jishang Liming-ge. This is called Jishang Liming-ge. A very Ming, of course, is referring to a brightness. Okay, this is to translate literally the outmost brightness at the Wu. Therefore, it is a very auspicious arrangement in terms of Ziwei Doushu. Okay, so secondly, we know that we always have to look at Sanfang Shizhen, right? Okay, now let's look at the Sanfang Shizhen. Firstly, this is travel domain, okay? Secondly, this is the career domain. Thirdly, this is the wealth domain. So let's start with the career domain, which is right here. So now tell me, Lian Zheng at the career domain pairing with Hua Lu. Can you try to tell me something about this person's career? Yes, you are very correct. Because Earth supports fire, that's a very good point, and fire supports Earth. So now perhaps you would like to give it a try. Tell me something about this person's career. Okay, if you are not too familiar, perhaps I will. Okay, yes, Lian Zheng is good for external relationship. Yes, when it is positive, it is usually good in politics, office politics, for example, or they are very Lian Zheng is a rather complicated kind of star. It is both positive and negative. He can be positive or both negative at the same time. Means that sometimes he can be two-faced in terms of his career. Perhaps sometimes he can be a very good person caring for his clients or customers or colleagues, whereas at another time, Lian Zheng having 廉政 as a career domain can mean that that person may sometimes makes use of his colleagues, makes use of his or even behind the back of his superiors to criticize them for etc. Yes, dual elements. You are very correct. All right, because 廉政 is of what? 廉政 actually has a dual nature. Do you remember what is the dual nature of 廉政? Can you remember what's the dual nature of 廉政? Stephen, can you remember the dual nature of 廉政? Yes, it is also a peach blossom star. You are correct. Okay, it's okay. Lian Zhen is actually quite interesting. Okay, Lian Zhen. Okay, let me write it down for you. First of all, in terms of gender, okay, Lian Zhen, in terms of gender, when Lian Zhen is pairing with Hua Ji, actually, it is referring to the female. Whereas when it is of the Hua Lu, is pairing with Hua Lu, it is referring to the male gender. Okay? So this is something interesting about 廉政, okay? Another thing that is related to 廉政, okay, is that 廉政, okay. There's an Asian saying that goes, okay, 廉政. Okay, let me write in Chinese first. 廉政姓难名. It means that 廉政 is not easy to be understood. Okay? Because 廉政化气为丑. This 丑 in Chinese, 丑 means being trapped. Trap, how do I, okay, trap. Or being locked up. Or even in prison. Therefore, for example, right, if 廉政, for example, is being paired with Hua Ji, being paired with the negativity enhancer star, sometimes this can be an indication, or even pairing with Qing Yang. Okay, Qing Yang. Or Hua Ji. Can means that person will encounter legal problems and go into jail. Okay. So, all right. Sorry. I have blocked. Okay. All right. So I don't know whether you are able to feel my writing just now. Okay. Right. So let me repeat once again. 廉政姓难名. Okay. 廉政 is not easy to understand. 廉政 is also a kind of, right, a kind of star that can represent legal problems. Okay, can represent legal problems. When it is being paired with the negativity enhancer star and 的 because 廉政化忌为仇啊。So it can actually means being locked up, being trapped, being imprisoned. When it is being paired with negatively enhanced star, such as 化忌, 擎羊, for instance. Okay, so let's say this person is having, but this person is not having 化忌 within the career domain. Instead, he is having 化禄 within the career domain. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Okay, perhaps lastly, I will want to tell you that Lian Zhen has two characteristics. One is fire. One is Lian Zhen is of the fire element, but also additionally, it also has the metal element. Okay. Okay, so it's rather complicated. That's why a lot of times Lian Zhen can mean a lot of things. Okay. When it is being paired with different stars, it also will give you a different meaning. So it's very, it really depends on a lot of other influence to the Lian Zhen star. Okay, so let us focus back to the Hua Lu at this career domain. What will this mean, Stephen? Are you able to tell me something related to this person's career domain having Lian Zhen and Hua Lu? You are quite correct, all right? So, Stephen, just to branch out from what you mentioned that Lian Zhen is a peach blossom star, right? Lian Zhen is a, okay, let me write it out for you. You mentioned that Lian Zhen is also a peach blossom star. Yeah, so firstly, this person will be able to achieve good career development due to social relationship. If this person is of a male gender, then particularly female, will be very helpful to this person in the achievements of wealth. Perhaps most of his clients will be of the female gender, or perhaps a lot of his clients of the female gender will especially support him in terms of giving him career opportunities, business opportunities, etc. Okay. Secondly, you have a very good point. That person will be good in handling political affairs or issues. Okay. What other things we can tell about having Hua Lu at the career domain? Of course, I have mentioned earlier on, Hua Lu means abundance, having a lot of money, having a lot of wealth, a lot of financial opportunities. So this person, generally speaking, will be able to get rich, become rich, become wealthy due to his work or business. Okay, so perhaps you would like to give me one more pointer as to what you can interpret from this kind of flying star arrangement. Good political career, yes, that is a good possibility also. He can enter into politics. Okay, so very good point there, Stephen. Very good point there. Thank you very much for the very good point there. Okay, so Very good point, and we'll be able to enter into politics. Okay. So what's next? What are the things that you can tell me regarding having Hua Lu? Perhaps smooth progress. Okay. Smooth progress. In work or business. Okay. Anything they want to add on for this Hua Lu at the career domain? Anything you like to add on? Okay, so I'll wait for your input. Any things that you want to add on to this Hua Lu at the career domain? As I mentioned before, right, career domain is the 技术位. Career domain is the, how do I translate 技术位? Perhaps I will just use the word dominant. Dominant domain. Okay, I can't think of any other word, right? So I write it in Chinese. So for 技术位. So it could also mean that throughout his life, he will have more than sufficient financial resources to use. Okay? Will have a lot of financial resources to use throughout his life. Okay? All right, fantastic. Do you want me to go on deeper with this career domain? Remember, I told you the 144 domains, right? Okay, let's start with something simple first. Remember, right? Career domain is right opposite of the spouse domain. So what is the meaning when you have Hua Lu at the career domain? It would also mean that this person's wife will be able to become rich because of this man, because of him, because Hua Lu, Hua Lu is at the career, which is right opposite of spouse. Okay, can you understand this point? Can you understand this point? Because I told you, right, the 三方四正 law will always apply. This is spouse, right? This is career. So if you go and 立太极 at the spouse, 三方四正 will be right opposite, okay? I mean, Hua Lu will be right opposite of the spouse domain, bringing about wealth to the spouse. Will that be a positive thing? I would say that's pretty nice, right? That person's wife will also benefit because of this Hua Lu at his career domain, okay? Able to follow so far? Stephen? Able to follow so far? Hopefully you are clear about the concepts. Is it clear for you so far? All right, that's cool. Okay, you are able to follow. Fantastic. Okay, so let's move on. We also have where was the previous chat? We also have Hua Quan at the mind domain, right? Right here. Hua Quan at the Hua Quan at the mind domain. So can you tell me something about these persons? When it is at the mind karmic domain or the containment domain, having Po Jun pairing with Hua Quan, what can you tell from this kind of formation or arrangement? Okay, so I wait for your input. Okay? Tell me something about Hua Quan pairing with Po Jun at the mind karmic domain. Basing on what I have taught you earlier on during the start of the lesson, some of the Paul Jun, yes, new ideas, very good. Some more, what else can you tell me? What else can you tell me about loss of change? Competitive, yes, correct. Yes, can also indicative of changes because these four corners are the horse's corners. Okay, these four corners are the horse's corners in terms of 紫微斗数. I don't know whether you have touched on this already. All right, this is the Shi. Okay, and this is the Sun. Okay, write it here. Okay, will be easier to read. Okay, this is the Sun. Well, this is the High. This is the Yin, which are the four horses corner. Usually, these four corners also mean changes in life, movements, migration, etc. So you are very correct. Lots of change, competitive. Change is usually from old to new. Very good. Improvements. That's a very fantastic interpretation. So I believe slowly you are getting the logic behind how to go about interpreting the flying star together with the main star. Always having or thinking of new innovative ideas, which is excellent point, which is an excellent point. All right, very good point. Any other things you'd like to add on? Any other things that you like to add on to the interpretation? Okay, no more. All right, very good interpretation. Okay, so a thumbs up for you. All right, a thumbs up for you. Okay, so perhaps I will add on. Okay, mind. Okay, 福德宫. Okay, let's just simply call it the mind domain. Okay. Of course, as I mentioned, some people like to call it the containment domain, the happiness domain, the karmic domain, or whatever, right? But for simplicity, I will just name it as mind domain. So mind domain, of course, will refer to the mindset of the person. So when it is being paired with Hua Quan, that person may have a kind of personality which is very controlling. Always wanting to lead, always wanting to dominate, or even always wanting to compete with others. So is that a good thing? If it's very much like Steve Jobs. Okay, Steve Jobs. You read his birth chart, right? Steve Jobs. Okay, although he's Chisa at the life domain, to some extent, Chisa may have certain characteristics that are similar to Paul Jun, but Paul Jun is more towards revolutionary kind of changes or approach to life, liking to break away from the old and establish the new as what you have mentioned. So this person who have Hua Quan within the mind karmic domain, which also means that he is very innovative and will be able to achieve certain high level of authority in his field of study, in what he studied. Or research. For example, he is someone who study COVID-19, and he's able to come out with a vaccine that can cure or prevent COVID-19. Okay, such people, they are very specialized in terms of their knowledge. They can be an expert or be a specialist or someone who have very high level of um, professional professional knowledge. Okay, but of course this kind of person can also be a little bit lonely. Not many people will understand him, so it's hard to understand, hard for others to understand him. And in a way, this person can also be hot-tempered. Because Hua Quan is of the fire element. You remember that? Okay, so some of the things that we can interpret from such a chart formation. Okay, so I guess quite enough already. So lastly, what do we have? What do we have? We have the children's domain having 太阳 pairing with 化忌, okay, which is right here. Okay, actually there's also well pairing with 花科, but we will slowly get into that. So children's domain pairing with 太阳 having 化忌 there. What can you tell me, Stephen? Can you tell me some characteristics that could happen? Right, 太阳 pairing with 化学, 化忌, okay, 化忌. Okay, so what will happen at the children's domain? Children's work hard. Work hard. Yes, could possibly happen also. Don't get along. Yes, that could possibly happen. Likewise, that could possibly happen. Likewise, especially with the male child, with the son. Okay, and also additionally, earlier on I mentioned that 化忌 means obsess. So in a way, this person can perhaps okay, pamper the or dote on him too much. Dote on him too much. Okay, you know, maybe the son wants to buy whatever toy, and he's always giving in to the son because he cares and loves the son too much. That can be one of the interpretation related to such kind of chart characteristics. Or additionally, okay, because right, for such a chart formation, 天南 will always be at the 天梁 will always be at the opposite domain. And in 紫微斗数, there is always a saying that goes 太阳天梁主 别离 it means that 太阳 plus 天亮 could mean separation. Therefore, okay, I covered it already. Okay, so in 紫微斗数, there's another thing that goes, all right, because, okay, just now, because I believe your WhatsApp have covered the screen. So let me show you once again. 太阳, okay, look at the children's domain, the 三方四正. Right opposite of the children's domain would be 天梁 if you follow the sequence of plotting chart. 天梁 will be opposite of 太阳 if this person is having 紫微 at the Wu court. And in terms of 紫微斗数, there's a saying that goes 太阳天梁主别离 means that when 太阳 is being paired with 天梁, it will mean separation. And some more this is pairing with 化忌. This is pairing with 化忌. So it could mean that that person may be separated from his son due to certain situations, perhaps due to his work, perhaps he cared too much about earning money. That's the reason why he gets separated from his son. Perhaps he traveled overseas to work. All right. Example is that person who have a 紫微 at the court of Wu will always have 贪狼 at the travel domain. So it could also mean that this person may have a kind of third party or having a third party in an overseas country, like he has another girlfriend in another country, so he always traveled to another country and left his children behind at the home country. Such is the another possible interpretation of the situation in life for this person. Okay, so you can understand this point. All right, any doubts or confusion related to having children's domain pairing with 化忌 and 太阳? Another possibility is that the children's domain also represents our sex life. Because without sex, you cannot have children, right? Commonsensical. So this person having 化忌 at the children's domain could also mean that he's someone that is obsessed with sexual activities. Okay, this could be one of the possibilities, all right, in terms of 紫微斗数 reading. So any questions you'd like to ask so far? Or you can understand all this point without any confusion? Okay, so I will just wait for you to type something. Are you still here? Hopefully you are able to understand all my explanation thus far. Are the concepts clear to you? All right, great. You are able to understand. Okay, so lastly, we have, what do we have? We had the, all right, let me go back to the drawing. Lastly, we have at the wealth domain. Wealth domain is having 武曲 pairing with 化科. So wealth domain, of course, represents money, right? Okay, wealth domain. And 武曲 itself is also a financial star. Right? pairing with 化科. So what will this mean? What does this mean? Okay, can you tell me something that could possibly be revealed through this arrangement in terms of the birth chart? Can you tell me something related to such a birth chart? 化科 at the wealth domain pairing with 武曲 and 化科. Can you tell me something about regarding wealth through fame? Yes, very good interpretation. Wealth through fame, or some more. Tell me some more about 化科. Anything that you can add on? Academic achievements. Yes, exactly. All right. Anything else that you can tell me about 化科 pairing with 武曲 at the wealth domain? Very good interpretation so far. 武曲 is master of finance. Yes, correct. For such a chart, right? Actually, 天相 will also be inside. Okay, but just I don't want to complete. Okay, perhaps I will also add on. All right, just to give you some practice. Because 武曲 will be pairing with 天相 also at the wealth domain for such a chart construct. So let me add on. Okay, if you also find 天相, tell me something. 武曲天相, what can you tell me? When this 天相 is being paired with 武曲, and you also find 化科. Yes, exactly. Very good input, Stephen. Very good at money management. That is a very good point also. How about being paired with 天相 also? Because this domain, right, given that 武 court is having 紫微, will have 天相 pairing with 武曲likewise. Tell me something about 天相 that you will know, that you already know. And what kind of life situations will appear with 天相 and 武曲 at the wealth domain being paired with 化科? Like to be social, like to outgoing. In a way, yes. But I will say that kind of social gathering that he will prefer usually is of that kind of something that is related to learning, something that's related to academic or related to research, that kind of social events, or events that related to arts and music, or that kind of social events you'll be more interested in. Okay, so very good interpretation. Perhaps I will also add on 天相. First of all, 天相 is a minister star. And usually when 天相 is found with the career within the wealth domain, all right, because this person is having 紫微 at the life domain, right? I mentioned before 紫微 is best to have 福, 天府. Okay, this is 紫微 by the way. It's best to have 天府, 天相. This is called 府上桥坛, which is a very auspicious arrangement. 坛好像是这样写哦. Okay, something like that. All right. 府上桥坛. Okay, sorry, I cover up. So 紫微, right? Because this person is born with the 紫微 star at the life domain, having 天府 and 天相 together facing this 紫微 is a very positive arrangement, which is called 府上桥坛, means who is the minister star that is in charge of finance. This is like the finance minister. Whereas Xiang is the, I will say, perhaps Secretary of State in modern term, okay? Because I prefer to use 紫微斗数 in accordance to modern context. Okay, so this is the emperor. 紫微 is the emperor or presidents. Okay, presidents. Okay, so the presidents having the Secretary of State and Finance Minister helping him. It is a very positive kind of birth chart. And additionally, 天象 could mean multiplication. Means a pair, or it means that in such a context whereby it is found in the wealth domain, it could actually means that he has more than one source of income, right? Just $1 sign, all right? More than one source of income, okay? Because 天象 is always doubling the energy of the star with or the doubling the characteristics of the domain, okay? So are you able to understand this point? Hopefully you're able to catch this point. All right, so basically that's how we go about analyzing the chart. That's the reason why I told you I had to draw it out for you in order to come to a better understanding. I know you know all the charts also, you know, all the flying star charts, right? All right, I know that you know, okay? I know that you know it is, but it is beyond just looking at the chart of the flying star. It is how you look at the chart as a whole in order to come to a constructive and accurate interpretation. I know you also kind of have seen all this chart before. For example, right? Yi, this is 天机, right? Okay, I will write quickly in Chinese. 天机天梁 followed by 紫微 followed by 太阴. All right, all these subsequently, all right, you have it in your study notes. Okay, so I will not elaborate further because you already have your study notes. But ultimately, the interpretation of chart is more than just looking at the raw data. You really need to look at the chart as a whole to see where the flying stars are flying into what domain. And when it is being paired with certain major stars, what it means. And also, the direction of the flying of the stars also will show you different things. For example, when the flying stars are flying from the live domain, it means that that person will show or display certain kind of characteristics. Right? Just to give you another example, okay, in case okay, in case you want to know more about the flying star. For instance, when that person is having a decade trend, at the when the decade trend moves to the children's domain, for example, in this case, then that person will have 化禄 at the decade. Okay, this is the decade. Okay, let me change another pen. This is the, okay, this is the decade spouse pairing with 化禄. then it will mean that when the person decade trend has moved into the children's domain, the person will have the high possibility of having children, and his relationship with the wife will usually be amicable or harmonious, because Hua Lu is an energy that represents in to certain extents can also represent harmony or a kind of amicable relationship or a peaceful relationship. And Hua Lu, of course, when the decade trend is here and the flying star, all right, this is kind of having Sin as the right, because Sin for Sin, right, this heavenly stem Xin Tian Gan, when okay, let me write it in Chinese. Hua Lu will be at Jumen. This is the flying star sequence, which you already have the chart to follow. Okay, so for example, okay, perhaps I will just draw again another chart, will be clearer to see. So this person originally is having life domain at Jia Wu. When okay, because this is a man, so the chart will go this way. He's born perhaps in a yin year, 阴年生, okay, 男 is a guy. So when his decade trend is entering into the children's domain, okay, this is the decade, which is the also the decade life. Okay, let me write it in another color, which is the decade life. Because in 紫微斗数, our decade trend will either move clockwise or anti-clockwise. Left side is anti-clockwise, okay, to the right side. If you look at it from the front, okay, look at it from the front, it will either move clockwise or anti-clockwise. So when the decade trend will always move, okay, one square at a time, okay, one square at a time, one domain at a time, okay, and one domain will represent 10 years. So this is roughly at his 40, because of, let's say this is 0 to 10 years old, this is 10 to 20 or 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 30 to 31 to 40. So between 31 to 40, he would have a high chance to give birth to children. And when the decade spouse domain also shift, right, because the decade spouse domain will also be shifted to the original body domain. This is the, okay, or the natal body, which is the decade spouse. And as I have mentioned earlier on, Xin heavenly stem will have Jumen being paired to Hua Lu. And this person's Jumen is right here. This person's Jumen is right here, being pairing with Hua Lu. Therefore, is an indication also of the need to take care of his children. He has to give his wife money. Okay, are you able to understand this point so far? Or everything within the chart is interrelated, and you cannot ignore any parts of the chart. And we have to always have to come to a thorough understanding of these very important concept. Okay, so so will this will have today's lesson be able to clear some of your doubts? I have to be honest that you will not be able to understand everything, every single concept just by these about 1.5 hours of sharing. But gradually, when you learn it step by step, you will build up your experience and knowledge and your database, and you will have better interpretation skills moving onwards. Okay, so I hope this lesson or this tuition has been useful for you and has been one that clear your confusions as to how to use flying star together with the major stars. Subsequently, of course, you can also apply the minor stars. For example, this person may have Tian Hui at the life domain. Then this person could be someone who will always experience help from other people, for instance, or perhaps he has Toro at the Toro 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 okay at the mind karmic domain. Then it could mean that that person likes to keep on thinking. 轉牛角尖啊，中意轉牛角尖 means that person would like to always think about something over and over and over again. May not necessarily be a positive thing. Okay, so I have sent you the notes for the minor stars already. You can go and study the minor stars, and then also pair it with the flying stars and come to various different conclusions. Okay, so I hope today's teaching has been a useful one. Any other questions that you like to ask, or any other concepts that you are still not clear and would like me to explain, please feel free to ask me. Okay. Any other questions that you would like me to touch on? Any other topics that you like me to touch on? You are welcome, and feel free to ask me any questions in the future. Okay. So thank you very much also, and thank you very much. And if there are no more questions, then I will go to sleep because it's already 12:21, and it's pretty late. Okay, so thank you for being with me tonight, which is your morning. What time is it in Canada? What time is it now in Canada? Anyway, I would like to wish you a good day, have a good weekend, and you are welcome, most welcome. 11:22 a.m. So it's your morning. All right, so it is my night. I will go to bed soon. And if you have more questions, feel free to WhatsApp me anytime. Okay. So thank you once again, and I will see you. I mean, I will talk to you again. All right. So have a good day. Okay. All right. So see you in the next or talk to you in the next tuition. Okay. Good night and bye bye.